Hey everyone, welcome to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. So, today we are going to continue with our McClelland Grand Oriental series, and we're going to be talking about the Yenidje Supreme. I think that's how you say it. I don't know for sure. Now, I have footage still from the trip that I took in Boston from the LJ Peretti shop. But I figured we needed to kind of break it up a little bit. We've already done 2 videos. We'll do a 3rd video in February sometime, kind of wrap it up. It was a great trip, and I hope you guys enjoyed those videos. Next week, we are going to be doing our Tobacco Tasters episode, and that's actually on an LJ Peretti blend. That's going to be the Oriental number 40. So you still have time to get that if you haven't gotten some already to try it with us. But that's going to be next week's video, and then we'll wrap up the tour of the shop with the video after that. But today we are going to talk about this McClelland Yenidje Supreme. So this is an Oriental. It is no longer in production. It has Maryland, Oriental Turkish, and Virginia's in it. It's a ribbon cut. It came in 20-gram tins. I've seen it at pipe shows anywhere from about $50 to $75. Yeah, just depending on where you get it. Which pipe show you go. Yeah. The strength on this is mild. There's no flavorings. The taste on this is about a moderate to a medium. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about this one a little bit. I do have a little caption that McClelland added to the description of this that you guys might want to hear. So it says from McClelland, the Oriental tobacco cultivation began in the 1600s around the villages of Yenidje and Kirdzali after Venetian and Genoese traders introduced tobacco smoking to the area in the 1500s. The classic basma seed introduced there over 300 years ago is believed by some to derive from the ancient Venezuelan variety of Nicotiana tabacum named Barinas. The very finest Xanthi, which is the name of this Yenidje, was also called Xanthi. Still comes from the original Yenidje area of western Thrace, just north of the modern town of Xanthi. It is a Xanthi Yucca Basma and the Xanthi Digibel Basma that comprises the legendary Yenidje leaf, which is thin, full-bodied, flexible, and fine vines. Full of oils, the best leaves are quite small, yellow to brown in color, with a pleasant, delicate aroma and sweet, mild, fresh flavor. So, little description on that tobacco right there. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. What are you getting on this one with the tin note? So the tin note, you saw my reaction when we first laid it out and everything. The tin note has that typical vinegary ketchup scent from McClelland. Not a lot of those Oriental flavors, that spice coming through and stuff like that. To me, wow, it seemed very inviting. It seemed very fresh. Of all the ones we've tried so far, this one seemed the most fluorescent, most herbal kind of flavor to me. And I get more of the red Virginia, that typical Virginia McClelland smell, than I do any of the Oriental smells on this one. I get that typical vinegary, ketchupy kind of smell. Yep. A little bit of spices in there. Yep. Some sweet and sours going on in there. A little bit of citrus. Very light grassiness. Yeah. A lot of vegetation coming through. A slightly hay kind of smell. That fresh cut grass really came through on this one a lot. And I thought, oh man, this one's going to be my favorite out of the series. It definitely has a different smell than all of the other ones. It's not as Oriental forward as the other ones have been so far. The mixture of, I will say, the mixture of these Oriental leaves that they're using are slightly nutty. There's a slight nuttiness to it, almost, but more along the lines of like a pistachio or a
a Brazilian nut, something that is actually a true nut, as opposed to like what we call like peanuts, or something like that.
Interesting, huh?
To me, it kind of comes through like that. To me, the tin note seemed very, very, very inviting, and when it comes to the taste, I'll say why it is past tense and not present.
Yeah, well, and this blend that we're smoking is 2007. So it's got quite a bit of age on it. Talking about the moisture level on this, it's pretty dry. It's pretty crispy. Which I've read that this particular blend does better when it's dry like this.
Well, I've had to have a couple relights, so
yeah,
I will say.
We'll see how that goes. All right, so what are you getting out of the taste then?
So I don't know if it's because it's been aged, but when it comes to the taste, all the flavors are very light. This is the first blend I've smoked in a long time, even considering all the other blends, that I've almost felt like coughing on, because
more of a smokiness,
more of a spice to me. There's the Red Virginias are there, but they're almost lost. The Orientals have there's a lot more of the Orientals that I can feel.
Really?
Through. Yeah, to the spice. It's there is a little bit of sweetness mixture from the Orientals and the Red Virginias that are coming through, but
that's interesting because I get absolutely the opposite. I get more of that McClelland 5100 Red Virginia taste, and I get almost no Oriental taste at all.
Yeah,
I don't know what, and I've been going through fighting some illness and stuff, and so my palate could be out of whack. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I just don't get that. To me, this has been this is our fourth one that we've tried.
Yeah,
and it is the lightest in Oriental taste than any of them to me.
See, to me, this one, for some reason, I find myself going to the bottle of water. Those Red Virginias make me salivate.
Yeah.
They cause me to really add moisture and feel like I'm having a very, I don't know how to say it aside from the fact that, very wet smoke.
Really?
Like I don't need drinks when I'm sitting there just puffing my pipe. This one, I feel like I keep grabbing my bottle of water. Because I don't know if it's making my mouth dry. I don't know if maybe I'm starting to feel sick or maybe I had too much to drink the night before. I don't know. But I know that like with this particular smoke, for some reason, I'm thirsty. And the only thing I can chop it up to is because McClelland Red Virginia blends, for the most part, cause me to really just have that tanginess, that tangy bitterness right there at the sides.
That kind of
an
acrid, acidy kind of.
That feeling that's right there. And with this one, man, I'm feeling the pepper. But it's very mild, very toned in. Almost like a burley type of, like, I don't know how to explain it aside from, like, it's more of an idea of, like, if you put dried pepper on roasted chestnuts or something like that.
That's kind of out there. I've never even heard of that.
I haven't either, but that's what I'm thinking of. That, like, it's like I've had roasted chestnuts. I've had a very peppery type meal before, or a meal that's focused on pepper. Add them together, this is what I'm feeling.
All right. Well, to me, I'm getting hardly any kind of complexity. It's very simple. It's a light flavored tobacco. There's not a lot going on with it. Most of the flavors that I'm getting are coming from those reds. A little bit of pepper heat in there. Slightly sourness, slightly grassiness. There's a little bit of baking spices that I'm getting in here.
I get that,
as well, but to me it's just not doing what the others have done. If we would have tried this first, we'd have thought much better than it is compared to the other three that we've already
I will
tried.
say that. I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because after smoking this one and then knowing what the last one tasted like, I went, it's not as good.
Yeah, because to me, this doesn't really taste like an Oriental at all. I mean, I get more of the Virginia in here than anything else. So that's pretty interesting about
maybe where most of my criticism is coming from is the fact that I've tasted the other three blends before, and I've gone, man,
yeah,
what happened?
Well, there's another version of this that's called Yenidje Highlander, which actually has a lot of Kia in it. So
see, I can see where a lot of Kia would add a very good smokiness to this, a very good. Oh, wow. Yeah, I bet that one's awesome.
yeah, we're going to try that one next.
Yeah.
And kind of compare the two and see how it goes. All right, well, that's interesting. What do you got on the room note?
The room note's not bad. It's pretty tolerable to pleasant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It re-adds that scent that I smelt from the tin. Where it's like, oh, it's kind of inviting, especially to your guys that aren't like pure arrow smokers. This is a very soft room note.
Yeah, it's not heavy at all. Yeah, I get that. It's light, and the smoke is light as well. When you're puffing, it's not as thick and creamy as some of the others have been.
Yeah, it dissipates very quickly.
Yeah, what do you think about the nicotine on this?
This is a full, mild to moderate. You know, this will get your nicotine hit in when it comes to smoking. I don't know what adds it to it, but it's
maybe that Maryland that's added in there is what you're tasting. I don't get a whole lot of hit on nicotine on this, but I think that's real subjective. I think the nicotine content is subjective depending on the smoker and their tolerance to nicotine.
Well, and that's true. Yeah, you got your all-day burley smokers.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this actually, Yenidje or Xanthe, is that what it's called? Xanthe.
Yeah.
Is considered to be the queen of tobaccos. Now, I don't know what court deemed it the queen. I don't know about all that stuff, but that's what they say. And the things that I like about this one is that it's easy to smoke. There's no bite to it. There's no harshness to it. I don't get any moisture in it at all.
Yeah.
You know,
it's an easy smoke. It's just depending on what you like. We have two different mindsets on it too. So
I'm starting to get a little more lemon taste in this now as I'm smoking it down a little bit. I'm getting more of a citrus hit on this, more lemony than anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting too. All right, well, this comes in 50-gram tins. Tobacco Reviews says that it comes in 100-gram tins, but I've never seen the 100-gram tins. Like I said, it's no longer in production, and you're going to pay anywhere from $50 to $75 for a tin of this. Of the four, this is my least favorite.
Same.
Of the four, this is my least favorite. So, we'll do a total ranking at the end of all of this.
That'll be fun.
We still have four more to go after this.
Yeah.
So,
goodness, hell of a series.
Yeah, it's great tobaccos. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a bad smoke.
No.
I'm just saying compared to the others.
Because, I can think of...
I mean, if you...
I can think of a couple dozen that are worse than this.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted a smoke that was really calm and relaxed and, maybe in the mid-afternoon, while you're going home from work or something like that, this is easy to smoke, so...
Yeah.
And it's they're quality tobaccos, but just doesn't have very much depth to it at all.
No, I think that's what I'm missing, is I'm missing the complexity that the other smokes before that we did add to the picture of a McClelland smoke.
Yeah.
And I guess that's maybe what I'm a little sour about.
Oh, well. They're not going to be all things that everybody enjoys.
Yeah,
so that's why I guess they made 8 different ones.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, next week, like I said, we're going to do our tobacco tasters on the LJ Peretti Oriental number 40. Order that. Get online or give them a call. They'll take your order over the phone too.
Yep.
So and get that. You still have time before we do that one next week. So.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, hopefully next week I'll feel a little bit better, and we'll have this thing going and blowing.
Yep.
And I'm glad to be back in the room smoking again.
Yeah.
You know, I've not smoked a whole lot in the last 2 weeks. When we came back from Boston, man, I just got hit with something that I didn't want to smoke. I didn't want to do nothing, you know?
Yeah. I haven't, well, and since you haven't smoked a lot, I haven't smoked a lot either, just because we haven't had several chances to sit down and have a good smoke, yeah.
Well, hopefully this week I'll get on the mend and we'll pop some more pipe tobacco in the old bowl.
I'm good for that.
And smoke it. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching. We really do appreciate you. Don't forget,
make all your piping moments count.
We'll see you next week. Have a great one.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.